we have that. Okay, good day yet again. Welcome to Studio 84, and as usual, today I have a special guest in studio. This guy has quite a story. I happen to know a thing or two about him, and I'm not sure 30 minutes will be enough, but we shall try. Bright, we have only 30 minutes. I know you're a man of many stories, but today is the day you keep your stories short.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So let me ask Bright Ntakky to introduce himself and basically what he likes to be known for. Bright, tell us, who are you?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Solomon, for having me at Studio 84. It's definitely an honor and privilege for me. Yeah, I'm Bright Ntakky, and I am an artist who draws and paints pictures.
Yes.
Not the one who sings. And I would love to be remembered as one of the best artists that ever lived. But I also do poetry and I write.
Yes.
Yeah, so more like the creative. Yeah, but I love to also speak.
Yes.
And so the honor to be here.
Yeah. So, Bright, I just briefed you, before we went live about Studio 84 and what we are about, and you seem excited and you can see the possibilities.
Yes.
Now, but before we get there, you and I know each other from a business space. We know each other from BNI. You've been a member of BNI, I think, coming to 1 year now. And you have a story of how you ended up in BNI. What's your story like? What's your background? When did you start painting, and at what point, and drawing? At what point in life did you decide that this is going to be the craft that earns you an income, that earns you a living, that it's going to be a business?
Awesome.
Like we agreed, Bright, eh? Keep it brief.
Yeah, awesome. It's beautiful. It's powerful. I think there's something called destiny.
Yes.
And I think destiny found me because when I was about 3 years old,
Yes.
my mom used to work close to an artist.
Yes.
Whose name was Absalom, by the way. Solomon Absalom.
Yes.
And she would go with me to work and leave me at the studio.
Yes.
3 years old, 4, going on 5.
Yes.
So the gentleman started giving me paper and pencil. He used to do portraits. I would draw all the time. And before I knew it, the whole house was full of my work. So I picked a lot of interest. And then at school, I would do art to get break.
Yes.
So I found, I can earn through art.
Yes.
Then in school, I was the best in class. Then at university, I was called to do art on government. So it was a path that was really predestined for me.
Yes.
And I've never worked since school. Out of school, I've just done art, and art in all its forms. In writing, I've published a few books, won a few awards. In art, in poetry. So I love that space, and I live in that space and for that space. So that is the space that still brought me to BNI.
Yes.
Yeah, and BNI is a serious story.
It's a whole story altogether.
A whole serious story.
Right. Where was this? Where was this when you were drawing, when you started drawing, as a child and so on and so forth?
Well, I was born and bred, as they say, in Kampala, the western part of Uganda. And yeah, that's where my roots are.
So you're the true Muchiga who lives no born from
yes.
on the plate.
Yeah, so I spent most of my childhood on the hills of Chigezi.
Yes.
I was telling people would walk 2 hills just to go and graze cattle and what. So I have so many fond memories of Chigezi. And then my advent to Kampala, another story.
Bright, you're postponing all the stories. You're saying the BNI story is a whole story. You're saying that you moved to Kampala, it's a whole story.
I'll follow your lead.
You'll follow my lead, eh?
Yeah.
So take us quickly. How do you move from Kabale to Kampala?
Yeah.
And then how's your hustle like in Kampala?
Wow.
How did you end up in BNI
Yeah,
and so on?
stories are powerful.
Yeah.
Everyone is an original actor in their story
Yeah.
that's never been told before. Mine too. Yeah, so my parents passed on. So my dad first at the age of 3, that's when my mom can't keep me at home, so she goes with me. And that's how I end up at the art studio of a guy I call my uncle. Yeah, so I grow up and then my mom passes on when I'm in S2. And so it's a struggle. I stay at school all the time. I have no close relatives to run to.
Hold on, Bright.
Yeah.
At your uncle's art studio in Kampala.
Yeah.
How is this art studio? Is it something as close to looking like the one you have?
Yeah, Kampala Art Studio.
Yes,
You
no. As an artist, I need you to paint that picture for
yeah.
me.
Yeah, so it was a clinic where
Yes.
my mom used to work. She was a midwife.
Yes.
And then close by was an artist staying in his car room.
Yes.
But then that's where he worked from.
Yeah.
So you can understand the pictures on the wall. It is just paper. It is the cover then was not so much different from today.
Yeah.
But like really struggling.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was very talented.
Yes.
And one of the only artists that Cavalry had at the time.
Okay.
So he did works for big hotels like White Horse Scene and all.
Yes.
Yeah, so he was a good artist.
Okay.
But then art wasn't selling a lot at the time.
Art wasn't. Is it selling a lot now?
Promising. Yeah, it's
Okay,
a
at
promising
least better than
journey.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so in school, struggling and all, so I decided, you know what, I need to go to Kampala.
Yeah.
In S6 VAC. Yeah, so I don't have money, I go to the bus park.
Yes.
I tell the gentleman I'm going to Kampala. He tells me 15K. I tell him I'll pay. He says, pay now. I say, no, my father is going to pay. He asks me, who is your father? I tell him, God. Now, God was for God.
Yes.
Yeah, so I say, God. Then it's like,
With an accent.
where is he? I point 45 degrees toward heaven, but toward Kampala. So, midway, God will find me. And I tell him, by the time we get to Kampala, I'll have paid.
Fare.
So he says, now all the seats are taken. You sit on near the driver, between the driver and the conductor. That's where the engine is.
Yes.
It's hot.
Is that the Kameme?
Yeah, the Kameme. It's hot. I sat there, I sat Kampala, and those days the buses were slow.
Yes.
So by the time I go to Kampala, as all like
Burnt out,
burnt
literally.
out. Yeah. And then they asked me for the money. I said, my dad is coming, though he's delaying. They take me to the police station. Nachivubo there. I sit at the police station. They ask me, where is your dad? I say, he's coming. 7, 8, 9. They tell me, you know what, you go. I didn't even know where to go. But I knew a friend of mine I had met in S1. And for me, back in school, what I used to do, I would give people first times. So every first timer in school, I would take them around, show them where the toilets are, where the canteen is, lay their bed. So that thing worked for me, but me, I loved it because a first timer, it was a beautiful thing. But it turned out great. One of them at university brought me a computer. So this gentleman hosted me in their home when I came to Kampala. How do I find their home? He had told me they stayed in Chifumbira. So I asked where Chifumbira is at night. I walked asking until I got there. When I asked for his mother's name, they knew the name because Chifumbira is just a small community. I reached there. I slept there. The rest is history.
Hold on. So your coming to Kampala was real baptism by fire.
Yeah.
You got a real welcome to Kampala.
A real welcome.
Can anyone show you what Kampala is after that experience?
And you know, there is this saying, "Sida mucharo."
Yes.
I said I will not go back. But many people have come that way and have made it in this city.
Yeah.
Uganda is a beautiful place. You can plant anything anywhere. If you're patient enough, it will grow.
It will grow.
Yeah.
So now you're in Kampala. You're staying at your friend's home. My assumption is that you didn't stay there long because not many people in Kampala host you for long.
I stayed there for a night.
Yes.
What happened in the night was not very encouraging.
Don't take us there.
I won't take you there.
Yeah.
So in the morning, I asked for the nearest church.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll not say it for confidence. What
It
happened
always,
there?
there's a friend of mine who likes to say, when all fails,
Yeah.
we all tend to resort to church.
To church, yes. So I asked for the nearest church. They direct me to All Saints Nakasero.
Okay.
I find a fellowship there. I am so, I like to vibe. So I am all over telling stories, helping people around, greeting everyone. So some gentleman likes like the attitude, and he invites me over to his home.
Yes.
That is the Watitis. Dr. Watiti of
Yes.
Mild Me. I think
Yes.
people know.
Yes.
Yeah, so the wife was called Naomi. She was then at USO.
Yes.
She invites me to her home for the night. So I tell her my story. She's like, "Oh, you're an artist. I'm starting a school. If you can help me with my school, I can host you."
Yes.
She hosts me for 6 months while I help her set up a school.
Wow.
We set up a school. It's done. She's hosting me. I'm having a good time. She was a very good person. The family was a good family. So after she gives me 600K, I go and start out.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did you start out?
Yeah, so I go back to the other family.
Yes.
Luckily, their
Chifumbira.
their sister is getting married. So their sister is getting married, and she's leaving her home down there. Yeah, so she's like, now you can take over my room. I'll leave for you the bed and the mattress. And when I'm getting married, then you can continue paying rent. Rent was 160.
Yes.
So I go buy chairs of like 90K. There are these wholesalers of second-hand. Like if you're shifting, you go
Yes.
give them your things. So I buy stuff. And then a friend of mine was also leaving for Cheyo. Cheyo is greener pastures abroad,
Yes.
to work abroad.
Yes.
And he sells me all his things in the house for like 600K.
Wow.
I didn't have all of it, so he gives me on banja. Plates, forks,
Yes.
spoons.
Yes.
So the first people I hosted thought I'd stayed in
You
Kampala
did
for.
jackpot. I know.
Yes, so I start out, I buy a camera, and then the church where I was going, a friend of mine gives me his motorbike, was also getting married. Then he tells me, God has told me to give you my bike.
Wow.
He gives me the bike. I pushed it from Mengo up to Kamocha.
You didn't know how to ride it.
I didn't know how to ride. I pushed the thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Great.
so God started blessing me that way.
Yes.
And that's how I started out in Kampala. But remember, S6 FAC,
Yes.
I need to get to school. I don't have school fees. My brother and sister were also struggling. I meet the Archbishop in one of the camps for All Saints.
Who was the Archbishop?
Henry Luke
Orombi.
Orombi.
Yes. What a man.
Yes. It's also another story how I met him. I need to summarize. But I meet him by God's grace, because there were about 1,000 students who were attending the camp, or rather kids. So in the night, around 10 p.m., I hadn't paid for the camp. We used to eat by meal cards, so I had not eaten for 3 days.
Wow.
I would take water, so I was too weak. And I wanted to go, but I didn't know where to go. Then a voice tells me, go and attend his session. So I attend his session. While he's teaching, I ask some questions, and he's like, I'll answer your question later.
Yes.
He asks, so we are moving out 10 p.m. Everyone is scattering. I'm going back to the prayer room. That's where I used to sleep. Some light that was coming from the girls' wing.
Yes.
And hitting a wall where we were converging.
Doing the sessions. Yeah. Yes.
Hits me as I'm passing by, and he's also moving out. So it's like, hey, young man, come here. You're the one who asked the question. I'm like, yes. He's like, okay, tomorrow at 10, meet me. I meet him. He's like, while I slept, God told me not to mind about answering your question, but to bless you.
Wow.
So find me at the palace,
Yes.
the Archbishop's palace in Mengo.
Yeah.
He gives me some money. I get there. He gets 900,000 out of his pocket, gives it to me, makes me sit across a big table, and tells me God is going to bless you. He asks me what I want. I tell him I want to continue in school. He gives me a letter. I take it to Seroma. He gives me school fees for 2 terms. I go and I start. And because I'd got private sponsorship for university,
Yes.
and I'd got about 11 points, A6. So I told him I want to repeat so that I can get enough
Data
points
points,
to
yes.
inspire my children.
Yes.
Yeah, so I go back, I get 23 points.
Hold on. Seroma High School
Mm.
in
So,
Mukono.
yeah.
You're an OB of Seroma this whole
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I go to Seroma, I excel, I'm on bursary, I finish, I get government on art and law
Yes.
at the same time. Yeah, but that's also another story, how I get to give up law and pursue art. Because we were two friends who had applied for the law thing. I got it, then I also got government art. So I went back and told them two people can benefit. So I gave up my law for the other person.
Wow.
And then I
The
went
law
for
was on private.
it was this, you know, honors college. It's like an African sponsorship for top students. So I gave it up for him. So both of us benefited.
Wow.
I was actually MC at his graduation, and up to date he does not know. Yeah, so
That you gave him
but
this.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was, I think it was a beautiful thing. So I've pursued, like, God has kept me in this field all this while,
So
and
much
I'm
favor.
really grateful to
So
him.
much favor along the journey. So Bright, you finish your art degree and you now enter the city fully and you're hustling on the art.
Yeah.
How does that go? How do you end up in BNI? I mean, the life of an artist,
Yeah.
I'm sure is not for the faint-hearted in this city.
Yeah, and one art is beautiful, but then it's not very financially rewarding here.
Yes.
For many, a few who are so aggressive make it easy. Hard, but yeah, they go through. But for the many, it is just a passion. So I've been passionate about art the longest. I make money. I made money, and then I made a few financial bad decisions. So one of which was I got an opportunity to go to Canada.
Yes.
So, and it was, you know, there's a lot going on about the Canada stories, you know.
Yes.
So I get to a person who tells me to pay a hefty amount of money. So I sell some of the things I had, but the opportunity still doesn't go through. Then I get another one who says, now I can take it to USA. Still doesn't go through twice. I'm left with completely nothing because I had given away all my things in the hope that we are going. The things kept coming so close to like a week, then something happens in between there. So I'd given away everything, and I had a suitcase with 2 pairs of shoes left. I'd given away everything, including my bed.
You were ready to go.
Ready to go. Yeah. So when that happens, I have to start at zero almost. Afresh. And I remember the very last day when I was rejected at the American booth. It was a Wednesday. I walked back home and sat and asked God, what next? And then still God led me to church. And I think I would tell the world that church, I do not know, but I suggest that if ever you get stranded, some run to police, but you might as well run to church, because the Bible says that whoever calls upon the name of the Lord will be saved.
Yes.
So for me, that's been my what is it called? Like the place where I run to for refuge.
Your place of refuge.
Yeah, church and God.
And
so the voice tells me go for fellowship.
Yeah.
And this friend of mine also leads me to this fellowship. And that's where I meet Mark Karamira. Pastor Mark Karamira. He listens to my story. You know, in church we give testimonies, and it was a fellowship for worship harvest. It's called MC.
Yes.
And the MC is called Shalak. So we meet in his home. In the meeting, we give testimonies. I tell my story. And he's like, there's a space. We pray, and he says there's a space that can answer some of your questions.
Yes.
It's called BNI. I'd never heard about BNI. Tells me come on Friday, 6 a.m. Kawa, he didn't tell me about paying.
I want to hear this. So you turn up at Fairway.
I jump on a border.
Yeah.
It's raining. You know, it used to rain every
That
Friday
morning.
Eh.
And yeah, it
So
tests
I come in the rain. I am dripping. I don't know what the meeting is about. Anything, you know, a drowning man hangs on a reed. So I was just hanging on anything.
You're just coming for some of those answers.
Yeah. I enter, I'm going to sit there like, go, Papa, what's up? Like, I was invited here. I had even, I think, forgotten the name of Mark. Some guy. Then Mark turns in my direction, is happy. And these guys are like 70K. I tell them 70 for what? For the meeting. Like, carry by. I turn to go. But then my heart says, you know what? For once, stay. I make a few calls, early morning calls. Yeah, I borrowed from MTN or I made calls. Somehow I get the money on phone, I pay. I sit in the meeting. And there's a lot of love. There's a lot of, you know what BNI is. It's a space of love. It's a beautiful space. And then I get a few hugs from beautiful people. And then there's good food. Like,
I will dwell in this land.
Yeah. And then the thing that touched me the most was when the meeting was done, Pastor Mark Ramira started showing people my work on his phone. Yeah. So people came and they embraced me. Yeah, no, do for me this, do for me that. I walked away with referrals. Wow. And so I was like, man, this space works.
The answers he promised you.
Yeah. So I ask God, of course. I ask, how much do people pay? They tell me. And the money was close because it was about 3 million. Yeah. Then there was the convention, which was about 560. Yes. So there were a few costs, about 4 million. And then you needed to have an office. Yes. It's a serious business network space. It's called Business Network International. It's a very beautiful space. Yeah. So they required an office. I didn't have it. I go to a money lender. And it's also very, very important, Mukulu Solo, that we become faithful. Yes. Over the years, I have tried so much to pay all my debts. Yes. So much. And so this gentleman gives me a loan of 8 million without any security. Why? Because I had been faithful before when I had the security. Now I didn't have, but he gives me the money. I rent an office space of 4 million. I pay 4 million thereabouts for the BNI, and I settle in. When is this? November to December. It was 1st November. A loan of 8 million. I'm at zero. 2 pairs of shoes. Which shoes? No shoes, like big shoes, which can't come for the meeting. I need to buy clothes for BNI. I need to have some furniture. I need to have some money. As an artist, I cannot walk to people's spaces. I probably need some means of transport. I can be representative of an artist. So I had to redream afresh. But nothing. For an artist, you don't even go to convince people to buy your work. No. People buy your work out of...
they see it, they appreciate it.
And it's not a need.
Yeah, it's not a
need. Luxurious, so they buy it when they want. But I bless God for BNI. Because between November and December, Kulu Solomon, I had paid back the whole debt of 8 million. I had saved 3 million. And from a BNI member, I got a loan and bought a car. Wow. That now could facilitate the work for my company, Better Inspiration.
Things like that, yes.
A few months later now, I am a resettled business guy in Kampala. I even expanded, because in BNI there is a university of business. You learn so much. I have learned to build teams. I have learned so many values. I've met so many wonderful people, including this wonderful gentleman, Solomon. I have made so much progress in a very short time that I would never have otherwise made. I have even scaled from just art into interior decor and interior design and beautiful things. I'm opening up an interior studio very soon. I am seeing even the skies not being the limit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what I gather from there towards the end of your story, you strike me as the guy who does not fear to bet it all. I mean, you bet it all on going to Canada. You were banned, and here you are. You had nothing to your name, but you borrowed 8 million shillings to bet it all on this group of
BNI,
people
yeah.
that you had never met,
Yeah.
that gave you a good first impression. Bright, what do you think makes you the kind of person? Are you the person who feels like you have nothing to lose because of your humble background? Maybe you feel like if I came from zero to here, as long as I have my head on my shoulders, I can always start over again.
I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I am the person who believes that for every man and woman, there is a place at the high table of life.
Wow.
I don't know when that time comes.
Yes.
You just have to keep believing
Yes.
and keep moving.
Yes.
So for me, I keep looking out for the next best opportunity and trusting God that that is the opportunity. What is hidden from our sight is what lies ahead.
Yes.
But the grace that is given to us is faith.
Yes.
To believe that all is well because He has promised so. So for me, as long as I commit my morning to God, the rest of the day I will come as it is. If you tell me Canada, we go. If you tell me Everest, we climb. If you tell me the depths of the sea, we go. As long as I committed the first hour of the morning to God.
You know Him.
The rest I move by faith. I will have a plan, yes, but that plan can change accordingly.
Yes.
Yeah, I have no... I think for me, I just move sheerly by faith. If the ship is going this way and the action within me says, let's go, move house.
Yes.
Yeah, I move. And I believe in the saying that says, wherever you are, be all there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Bright.
Yes, sir.
I pick a few things from your journey. The commitment to be a man of your word, pay your debts.
Yes.
I can hear your faith is strong. I don't know whether your faith was always this strong from childhood or has it grown along the journey of life with the challenges you've been through. What other principle of life do you think you have left out that has brought you to be the faithful kind of person to know how to spot an opportunity and take it before I ask you to close?
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. This beautiful meeting,
Yes.
what I can say for me is love. Love has been everything for me.
Yeah.
I've received a lot of love from strangers. Growing up, my brother, my sister, love. It's love that has helped us. It's love that has driven us. And so for me, I believe that love, if whatever we do is centered on love, then it will prosper. They say whatever is done for love will last the test of time. So I surround myself with love. I avoid any space that suggests otherwise. Anything that doesn't suggest love,
Yes.
I avoid it. So I surround myself with, and BNI is definitely about love, about people, about giving, about generosity, about selflessness. And so for me, that's been it. Wherever I go, it's love. Love also mingled with passion. Passion being love. So I am very passionate about the things that I do, the people that I have around me. So passion, if there's anything that anyone should have, it is passion. It is love that is indwelt. It is living from the heart. I live every one of my moments from the heart, and it's a beautiful thing.
Bright, you describe the BNI community in a way I think I've not heard before. I've not heard anyone describe that space as a space full of love, but when you come to think about it, the way people behave and give of themselves, referrals with no commission attached, help to build your business and all that, it all comes down to love. And it also reminds me in the Bible somewhere, it says that if we have no love, we have nothing.
We have nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Bright, I cannot go. We have to close. But I can't let you go before you tell me two things. You mentioned you're a poet.
Yes.
But I also see a feather in your head. This is the second time I'm seeing a feather on your head on TV.
Wow.
So what's with the feather in your head before you give us some poetry,
Wow.
thing before you go?
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much, Mukulu Solomon. What informs the feather is that I call myself Bright Ntakky, the Black Robin Hood. The Black Robin Hood, of course, from the movie I watched when I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that cartoon
Yes.
of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
And the idea of the movie being he would steal from the rich
Yes.
to help the
poor.
poor. Now, I growing up, being helped by strangers and all, I grew a desire inside me to share with other people. But then we were neighbors with a rich man, and one day I saw his kids eating watermelon, but I couldn't reach it over the fence.
Yes.
But I saw it oozing down, and I wondered what that thing was. I desired to eat it so much, but
You were used to the mango.
The mango, but I saw
But this time you
something
say
else.
a red thing.
Yeah, and I for years I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I knew if this person, and I knew they would share if there was an opportunity for them to share with me.
Yeah.
So I said one day I'll be a bridge between this person who has more and this person who has less. And Kampala is surrounded by homes. Every Kampala suburb has a slum and a fenced thing.
Right next to it.
These people are scared of these ones. These ones are also not sure of these ones.
Yeah.
But and there are good people in both places.
That's true.
They just need a connection. So one day, COVID came. And when it came, now everyone was at the same place, locked in, including me. So I felt sick. And then I didn't have anyone bring me water. And I told God, when you heal me, I will ride my bike, because that time they would allow bikes.
Yeah.
And then I will reach out for someone else who needs someone to give them water.
Yes.
So I put my art online. People sent me some money. And I bought just a few things, sugar, rice, one. And I went praying in tongues on the community,
for guidance,
asking God to just let me
lead you.
Yes, and one of the first people I met was an old lady who would sit on the roadside with her about 14 grandchildren whose parents had left them with her to beg.
Yes.
And now it was COVID, there was no one to beg from.
No one was.
So the kids would wander around the village and come back. And then we prayed together, we shared, they were happy. I said, what more can a man live for? So I posted the story on Facebook. Oh, so many people inboxed me, 70K, 100K, 1 million. Hey, people sent money. I said, wait, I have no plan. So I gathered a few friends, and now we started riding bikes. And we even medicine for the sick, villages. Organizations came on board. We helped entire villages during the lockdown. Yeah. We gave the blind, we gave the deaf, so many beautiful stories. We talked to people, we encouraged one, we prayed with people. And so I saw the Robin Hood story come alive. Wow. And then now the feather. So I live with the feather.
Wow.
Yeah, and I hope that one day that story will be more powerful.
That story is very powerful as it is.
So the idea is called Lovidex. It came from the Covidex, which was medicine for COVID, but for the physical body. So for us, we came up with Lovidex for the heart.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Bright. So what's with this? Wow, Bright, what a story. Now, I want you to bring out the poet in you right about now.
Yeah, so I do poetry.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be in a space like this. I have done a number of pieces performed for the president.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I'll do a small piece that I didn't prepare for it, but I hope I pulled it off for just encouragement.
Yes.
Yeah, so, when market forces of demand equal supply, equilibrium will apply.
Wow.
But because human needs are insatiable and human supply limited, there is always a discrepancy between plan and output, except the law of grace play in a given situation, like Jesus did in the story of the loaves and the fish. Now, Jesus is the bread of life, the brand I do not know. But I know that with him in your nest, you can eat bread for the rest of your life until you are laid to rest. Like in the story, Jesus upon a hill with so many to fill and nowhere to buy food in the by and by, except a little kid with 5 loaves and 2 little fish and a bunch of unbelieving disciples who couldn't even make a wish. But by the end of the story, there was more than enough because Jesus was in charge of the graph, doing all the maths. 2 plus 5 equal 5,000 remained at 12. Only by trying to say, if you will step out in faith in your thoughts and deeds, God will supply all of your needs. Yeah,
wow. Ladies and
yeah.
Thank you very much, Bright. I could not have ended this session on a higher note.
Wow.
God bless you.
Bless you too. Thank you for having me.
All right.
Maximum respect.
We'll see you soon.
Wow, thank you.